name is Chris Powers, and I am the proud father of a recent 2019 St. Joseph's Catholic School graduate, Joshua Powers, now a freshman and runner at Furman University, and Madison Powers, who's currently a junior here at St. Joe's and one of the captains of the varsity girls cross-country team. I want to thank the faculty and staff for this privilege of addressing prospective parents today. There are 3 points that I want to emphasize today as you discern the choice to send your child to St. Joseph's: community, Catholic, and cost. I can distinctly remember our decision to choose St. Joe's for our children as our oldest son, Joshua, was in 8th grade here at the Charlestown Center. We had recently returned to the upstate after our family's intentional journey of faith in mission to Tanzania, Africa. With all the challenges of a transition back to the United States and then to Greenville, Maya and I both desired that our children receive an education that involved ongoing faith formation, character formation, and an inclusive community of committed teachers and educators working together towards a common goal. We definitely found that at St. Joe's. Though we had heard good things from former St. Joe's parents, it wasn't until we attended the open house in the fall of 2014 that we saw this firsthand. Listening to stories from some of the teachers who had answered the call to deeper service of God in their vocation was powerful. Seeing not only the strong academic offerings, but how the teachers saw in each child the tremendous potential waiting to be unlocked, and then growing that potential through encouragement, challenge, and the transformative instruction of Catholic education. Because Catholic means universal, the ecumenical spirit here at St. Joe's is working to equip each child with the skills to develop their gifts and talents for the life of the world. As a wise Jesuit priest once said, "Act as if everything depends upon you. Pray as if everything depends upon God." And finally, the cost of a St. Joe's education is a very important consideration. I invite you to consider broadening your perspective on a stewardship of abundance rather than a fear of scarcity. Our own generosity can never outgive God's. Yes, it is a personal sacrifice for a family to educate their child at St. Joe's, but witness here the collective desire of St. Joe's to financially help any child who qualifies to be here, and then seeing this process through to completion. It is embedded in the ethos of the school. All of these details are available on the St. Joe's website for review. You will hear it said at St. Joe's, "These children are destined to set the world on fire." Let us each be wise stewards as we discern how we can best support and equip our children in this educational journey. A St. Joe's education is a priceless gift that once received can never be taken away. The sacrifice that we make to provide this education is returned tenfold when you see God's giving back to you for both your thoughtful stewardship and your perseverance in prayer. Thank you very much.
Hi there, my name is Maya Powers, and I was in your shoes just a few years ago. I would say I was in your seats, but I wasn't. It was in the gym and really hard bleachers. So I was in your shoes. Back then, we were looking for a high school for our oldest, and while we wanted a faith-based education, I had had a less than ideal experience myself attending Catholic schools as a child in South Louisiana. I hope the fact that I'm standing before you today communicates how well this particular Catholic school experience has gone for our family. At that open house day 5 or 6 years ago, while I was certainly impressed by the outstanding education here, I was overwhelmed, and still am today, by the warmth and dedication of St. Joseph's faculty and students. Every member of St. Joseph's seems to want the best, not just for the school as a whole, but also for each individual child. As others have shared, St. Joseph's is a family, and it's one that we're so very grateful to be a part of. As Aristotle wisely noted, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. The faculty here at St. Joe's seems to have gotten this message loud and clear. We have found our kids' teachers to be not only concerned about their academic success, but their success as humans as well. However, make no mistake, your children will not be coddled here. They will be driven to ask and answer difficult questions to work harder than perhaps ever before, to push themselves beyond what they thought possible. But at every step of the way, they will be met by loving, supportive teachers who will guide them with courage, humanity, and kindness. For instance, our son was involved in campus ministry and student council early on in high school, and Mr. Gabe Lewis was the faculty member in charge of both of those groups. Late in his junior year, Joshua was faced with what, for him, felt like an impossible decision about whether or not to run for student council. Joshua found himself spending an entire lunch period walking around the school parking lot with Gabe Lewis, talking about this decision. During that discussion, Mr. Lewis gave Joshua valuable perspective and insight regarding student council, but he also gave him the space to make his own decision. Soon afterwards, Joshua officially threw his hat in the ring, and he counts his experience as student council vice president among his favorite experiences in high school. Another of Joshua's dear mentors was Mrs. Coombe, his AP Language and AP Literature teacher. Her summer course on college essay writing was pivotal in launching his college application process, but it was her ongoing connection and availability that made her so special as a teacher. She helped edit some of his college essays, cheered him on, and she too gave him a safe space to explore where he was headed, both educationally and personally. Both Joshua and Madison have had the good fortune to have Mr. Orban as a religion teacher. Mr. Orban's classes not only teach the history and tenets of the faith, but through his thoughtful, well-versed teaching style, he encourages our children to be thoughtful and well-versed in their own discussions as well. And finally, while Sharon Rugel's teaching ability in the freshman biology classroom was unmatched, it was her life and Christian witness that had so profound an effect on Joshua that he asked her to be his confirmation sponsor. As it turned out, Mrs. Rugel was not alone in her influence. Almost every one of the St. Joe's students in Joshua's confirmation class had a St. Joe's faculty member as his or her confirmation sponsor. The list goes on, but what I want you to know is this. The faculty mentorship here is rich and deep. It is intentional and very personal, and it's one of the many gifts that St. Joe's provides. Before I go, I want to mention the incredible impact of the friendships, some of which I know will be lifelong, that our children have forged here. I don't think I can overstate the importance and influence of the very good, kind, fun, smart, loving people our kids have been fortunate to know, especially since our third child, our sweet Caroline, who has always planned to attend a local public school, recently said that she would like to take a closer look at St. Joseph's, because in her words, Joshua and Madison have friends that are such good kids. I want to be at a school with people like them.